What's up, Algebra 2? Here we have 8.2, Day 1. We're talking common denominator, so we can add and subtract fractions. Okay, sometimes called the least common multiple. We're going to get to the common denominator. For monomials, the chunks, okay, we're going to split apart the number. We're going to split apart the number into its prime factorization. So like 12, we're going to go 3 times 4. But I can keep breaking 4 apart to 2 times 2. So 12 is 3 times 2 squared. So you have a little bit of work to do with the number part. The letter part is basically done. We're just going to leave those alone. A squared times B. Okay, 15, 3 times 5. Can't break those up any further. ABC. 8 is 2 times 4. 4 is 2 times 2. So this is 2 to the third. And from our cube roots, not too long ago, we should recognize 8 in 2 to the third. B to the third, C to the fourth. Okay, I'm just going to move this over. Keep it the exact same. 3 times 5 times A times B times C. And now what we're looking for is the highest power of each item. If you see it, if you see a number or you see a letter, you got to use it. And if there's more than one, you take the highest power. If there's a tie, then it doesn't matter, but you just take 1. So for our 2's, we have 2 to the third and 2 squared. 2 to the third is the highest power. We're going to use 2 to the third. 3's, we have a tie. 3 to the first power, 3 to the first power. It doesn't matter, just pick 1. Times 3. We have a 5, have to use that. Okay, our letters. A's, the biggest one is A squared. Got to use that. B's, we have B to the first, B to the first, B to the third. And C to the fourth. Okay. Now the numbers we're going to multiply together. You can maybe do it in your head if you think of 2 to the third being 8. And 8 times 5 is 40. 40 times 3 is going to be 120. Otherwise we can do it on our calculator. 2 to the third times 3 times 5. Our number part is 120. And then the letters just stay the same. Okay, so that is a skill there that we will need in order to get a common denominator for these fractions, because today we're adding and subtracting. Okay, the last couple days it was multiplying. Today we're adding and subtracting, and part of adding and subtracting is having a common denominator. All right. Let's take a look. What do we have going on down here? We have 5, A to the third, B to the second, and 10AB in our denominators. So for 5, I think we have room up here. Let's go way up here. 5, A to the third, B to the second. Well, I can't really break 5 up. That's already prime. A to the third, B to the second. Okay, our 10AB is going to go 2 times 5 times A times B. So if you see it, you got to use it. So we're going to use this 2. Okay, our 5's, we have a tie, so it doesn't matter. Just pick one of them. We're going to use 5. A's, we have A to the third is the biggest one, and B squared is the biggest one. So we're going to have 10, A to the third, B squared. That's the common denominator we want to have. That's the common denominator we want to have. So let's bring this over here and use it. This one has 5, A to the third, B to the second. We want 10, A to the third, B to the second. So we need to multiply the top and the bottom by 2. That will give us 10, a to the third, b to the second. This one has 10, but it only has AB, not a to the third, b to the second. So we need 2 more powers of a and 1 more power of b. So we need a squared b, top and bottom on this one. Okay, now we're going to simplify. On the left-hand side here, we'll have 8 on the top over 10, a to the third, b to the second, plus 9, a squared b c over 10, a to the third, b to the second. And now we have a common denominator, so we can add them and write them as one fraction. Okay? The not nice part about these types of problems is the amount of work you have to do to get to the common denominator. The nice part about these types of problems is once you get here, you're basically done. Okay? Once you combine these, there's probably not going to be anything else you can do. It's going to be pretty rare that these can be combined. Okay, this is 8, this is 9 times a bunch of letters. Not the same thing, cannot combine them. So these are pretty nice at this point. A lot of work up front, the back is pretty easy. The ones on the back side are going to be easier up front, but have some thinking to do after that. Okay, there it is. That's the final answer. All right, next one. We have 3a squared over 16c squared minus 8x over 5a to the third c. And again, I'm going to come way over here. 16c squared. Well, that's 4 times 4 times c squared. But wait a minute. 4 is 2 times 2 and 2 times 2. So this is 2 to the 4th power, c squared. That's as far down as I can take it. And then we have 5, a to the third c. And we can't do anything with that. I'm just going to move this way over here so it's in line. So what are we going to use? If you see it, you got to use it. We got to use the 2. So we have 2 to the 4th. We're going to use the 5. A to the third. These are pretty easy decisions so far. Here's the first one we got to think about. C squared or C? Got to use the biggest one. We're going to use C squared. So that's 2 to the 4th times 5. Or, what was 2 to the 4th of 16? Nope, didn't bump it down. 2 to the 4th, bump it down, times 5. 80. So we want our denominator to be 80, a to the third, c squared. Okay, over here we have 16, c squared. So this one needs 16 times 5 to get to 80, and we need the a to the third. This one needs 16 to get to 80, and we have a to the third. We need another power of c, 16c. All right, so on the top we'll have 3 times 5 or 15. A to the third times a to the second is going to be a to the 5th. 80. A squared, a to the third, c squared, minus 8 times 16 is going to be 128, xc over our common denominator. And now we can write it as one fraction. There we go. Let's have you push pause and try the next one on your own. Go ahead and push pause. All right. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. Okay. We needed 2x to the third z and 8xy squared. So nothing with this one. And 8 is going to be 2 to the third. So we need 2 to the third, x to the third, y squared z. Or 8x to the third, y squared z. So we need 8, so we times by 4 y squared on this one. And that one already has the 8. We need x to the third, so we went x squared, and it needs a z. So we should finish with 12y to the third plus 5x squared z squared over that 8x to the third y squared z. Okay, with these, as you get more comfortable with them, you could probably start going from here to here. You know, because the only difference from this step to this step is that you wrote it as two fractions. You know it's going to be over this common denominator, so eventually, once you get comfortable, you can go from here to here. All right, back side. With polynomials, you factor and take the biggest power of each group. Okay, we're not going to have very many times when we have powers of the groups. Okay, it's more going to be make sure everybody has the same things. Okay, so let's look at the first problem. Okay, x squared minus x minus 6. This is going to be x minus 3, x plus 2. And then over here, 5x plus 10, we can divide those both by 5, take a 5 out in front, and we have x plus 2. Okay, they both have x plus 2, that's good. What does this side need that this side has? It needs the 5. So we have to go 5, top and bottom here. Okay, what does this one have that this one doesn't? It needs an x minus 3. So you basically are looking at, what do they have in common? Good, leave that there. What does this one have that this one doesn't have? And what does this one have that this one doesn't have? And you take that and multiply them over. Okay, now we're going to simplify. We'll take, 5x minus 5. And this is tricky with the minuses. Let's take it with that 4. Minus 4x minus minus is going to be a plus 12. All over 5x plus 2, x minus 3. Okay, and this is what I mean with this side. It's a little bit easier to do this part, but then it's a little bit more complicated with the end, because now we're not done. With the front side, we just put them together and we are done. Okay, these, you're probably going to be able to combine some things. Okay, 5x minus 4x is going to be x. Negative 5 plus 12, we're going to have a plus 7. And there we go. Also, another not nice thing, a little tricky thing you got to watch out for with these, because you're going to be simplifying the top. There is a chance that the top will simplify to something that would cancel with the bottom or reduce with the bottom. Maybe this came out to be x plus 2. Boom, it would cancel. Or maybe it was 5x plus 20, and you could take it, you could reduce them all by a 5, and you'd have to simplify there. Okay? The next one. 4x squared plus 21x plus 5. Ugh, a big number in the front. Do we need to review how to factor the number in the front? Okay, front times back. What's going to multiply to 20? and add to 21. 20 and 1. But because we had to do front times back, now we come back and divide by that 4. 20 divided by 4 comes out nice. That's going to be x plus 5. What if it doesn't come out nice? It's a fraction. Reduce it as far as you can. 1/4. We can't reduce it any further. And then we flip the 4 up by x, and it was a positive 1, so plus 1. Okay, on this side, 12x plus 3, we could pull out a 3, and then we'll have 4x plus 1. Okay, 4x plus 1's match. This side's going to need the x plus 5. And then this one's going to need the 3. Now we simplify the tops. 3x minus 24 plus 6x plus 30. See, this was a plus, so we didn't have to worry about taking the minus with it. Over our common denominator. Okay, we're going to put these two together and put these two together. So we're going to have 9x, negative 24 and 30 is going to be plus 6. Okay, now this is what we were just talking about with the last problem. You got to be careful at the end. 9, 6, 3. We can reduce these all by that 3. And then what's really tricky is sometimes like that will reduce, and then you'll get something here you can cancel. So you got to be really careful with these at the end. It's not every time, it's just once in a while. All right. There we go. Okay, we're going to have you try this one on your own. First thing I want to point out, I know we just did one with a 4x squared in front, and this has a 4x squared in front, but also the first thing we should be looking for, can we reduce that? 4, 14, 6, you bet. Make your life easier, take a 2 out. And now that should be a little bit easier to factor. All right, go ahead and push pause. Try this one on your own. All right, check it out. Check it out. Okay, we can take a 2 out. And now we're doing 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. And then we should be getting 2x minus 1 and x minus 3. This side, we're at 6x minus 3. So what do we need? This is tricky because we got a 6 and a 2. So this side needs a 3 times so that we have a 6 on the bottom. This side won't actually need that because it already has a 6, so we don't need to do any multiplying with a regular number. This side is going to need the 2x minus 1. So we'll have 10x minus 5, and make sure we take this negative with the 3. Negative 3x. Oh, I made a mistake. Negative 3x, that's going to be a plus 3. Plus 3. And then we'll have negative 5 plus 3 is going to be negative 2. And 7x. And I don't think that changes anything as far as this goes. All right. There we are, folks. Best of luck.